What is up to all my Baggins Dragons out there? Welcome to another podcast of Diary of a Silver Pourer. This is the 4th episode. I'm really excited for this one. As you may notice, it is dropping one day late. Normally I post them on Wednesday, and of course this is Thursday. The reason that I'm posting a day late is because yesterday I announced the unveiling of the International Silver Syndicate. If you've not yet seen my video on that, definitely check it out. I'll put a card up in the corner. It is a very cool monthly subscription box with a lot of very awesome, very beautiful pieces of silver. So you're not going to want to miss that. But anyway, moving forward, this episode I want to talk about some of the different things I've tried so far as a silver pour and some of the things that I hope to try in the future. So let's just get right into it. So first off, the only way that I've melted the silver is in my electric furnace. I would really like to try to melt it in one of the smaller crucibles. They kind of look like a bowl, and they've got the tongs holding it. I'm sure you've seen them on other YouTubers' videos, but it looks like a lot of fun to actually melt the silver that way and just sort of an enjoyable process. So it might not be the most efficient or fastest way to do it. Obviously, just throwing them in the electric furnace is going to take care of it, no problem, but it does look like a lot of fun. So I definitely want to try that out. And if you purchase one of those kits, I will say you're also going to need to get some bull racks to put on the inside there, and that will help clean the silver and everything. But so yeah, that's one thing that you should probably know. Anyway, so I definitely want to try that. Let's see. So as far as pouring the silver into different molds, so far I've only poured into square or rectangle shaped molds. I would like to try some new shapes. So I really want to get a round shape one. I'm not exactly sure what size I'm going to go for. Maybe a 2 ounce, maybe a 5 ounce. I don't know. Maybe I'll get both. So I want to try that. And I do want to get maybe some other cool, fun shapes. So I think that would be fun, just to buy some graphite molds off of Amazon or whatever, and then try and pour those. So just to mix it up, and it could be either for gifts or, potentially something that I would look at selling down the road. So yeah, I really want to switch it up as far as shapes. I feel like squares and bars and everything are really cool and really fun. Obviously, that's what I started with. I think it's a great place to start too if you're brand new, just to sort of kind of get the swing of things and figure out how to do it, and then move into more fun stuff later on down the road. So talking about fun stuff in the form of molds, I really want to get some custom molds made and some cool custom pieces. I think a dragon or a dragon's head would be awesome. I know there is a really cool one that you can buy on eBay from, I think the seller's name is like Parts for Less 1999 or something like that. I forget, but he makes a lot of really awesome molds, and I know he sells a dragon head one on eBay, which looks very cool. But I want to get something more sort of like my channel's dragon, so I would try and get it custom made. So I need to figure out the whole process of getting molds custom made. I don't think I want to buy all the equipment to make them myself yet, although that would be really cool. I know you need some sort of router and a computer to actually cut them out. So I know you can get them fairly reasonably cheap. I think maybe like in the $300 range, but for me it's just kind of too soon to get into all of that. So yeah, I want to get some custom molds made to do some custom unique shapes, and I think that would be really cool and a lot of fun. I do also know that you can make them yourself, and I actually have the tools to do that. With just a Dremel, you can just use your Dremel and carve out the bottom of a mold into whatever shape you want, and then when you pour the silver, it'll actually be raised on the bar or round or whatever it is. And so you can make some really cool, very unique pieces doing it that way. I might actually try that out. I'm not 100% sure yet if I want to go that route. I know it's going to be kind of time consuming, so that's one of the things that's kind of worries me. The whole process for everything pouring silver is very time consuming, which you'll soon realize if you start doing it. And if you don't have a lot of free time, like me, I'm married with 3 kids, and I've got a full-time job and everything. So if you don't have a ton of free time, then you'll kind of quickly realize that, it does take up a lot of time. So, but if you play video games or whatever in your free time, and you actually find that you can make time for silver pouring, you could do a lot of this cool stuff as well. So, all right, that's for pouring different molds. Now, finishes. I actually did recently try the silver antiquing finish. Up until now, all the finishes I've done were just a polished look, where I put the silver in the tumbler and it tumbles it. And that is a really cool look. I do love how shiny they end up looking and everything. But I wanted to try the antiquing. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I had the stuff for it. And so I gave it a go, and it actually turned out pretty good. I'm really excited with the results. I'll be posting a video about that very shortly, possibly tomorrow. I might have a different video tomorrow. You'll just have to wait and see. But so yeah, I tried the antiquing, and the process kind of went almost exactly like I thought it was going to. You use the liver of sulfur, which I bought on Amazon a while ago. All you do is you mix it with some warm water, drop the silver in, and boom, it will get darker. And I didn't really know what to expect. I thought that it would just get as dark as the water got, but it actually gets much darker. So the whole chemical process and everything actually will darken it more. So if your water you have with the liver of sulfur in it is just slightly tinted, what I'm saying is the silver could end up getting totally black from just that, which I didn't really expect that. I mean, I had no idea what to expect, but so yeah, it got really dark. And in fact, it also had some really unique rainbow toning on it, which I did not expect. There was some cool purples and yellow and green, as well as the dark sort of black looking antique finish. And so maybe I should have left them in there a little bit longer to get it all just totally black. But I don't know, it ended up looking really cool. And then what I did was I washed them off, and I put them in the baking soda or baking powder mixture to kind of neutralize it. And then I washed them off, and then I ended up sanding it down. I just used 320 grit sandpaper, which is what I had lying around the shop. And once you sand down, sort of all the low spots on the bar will still stay that dark color, but all of the high spots will turn back into the silver color, obviously, because you're sanding off that sort of liver of sulfur dark finish that you put on it. So it gives it a really, really cool look. I think I need to experiment a little bit more with the sanding and how to get that to look the way I want it to. And I know you can, I just use sandpaper, which, just like actual paper, but you can get sanding little, I think they're pads, they call them sanding pads. That might be a little bit better to use, so I might try one of those in the future. And then after you sand it, you can polish it, or you can just leave it with sort of the matte finish. I tried to polish mine, which I've never done that before either. Just using a Dremel and like a little polishing kit that I actually used a drill because they wouldn't fit in my Dremel. Yeah, I think the polishing kit I got was not the right one. But oh well, it was pretty cheap. So anyway, yeah, I gave the polishing a try, and that was, I don't know. I really need to figure out how to polish better, and maybe just get a different system down for polishing. Because it didn't really turn out exactly the way I wanted to, but it is really cool and unique, the final thing. So definitely check out the video when that comes out. But so yeah, I've tried the antiquing finish. I want to try a sort of hammered finish where you get the different dents in the bar. I really, really want to try that. I think those look very cool. So that'll probably be one of the things I try next. I just need to find a time that I can do it. Usually I'll try and pour silver either at night when all my kids are sleeping or something like that. So I can't really, be whacking away with a hammer, making a ton of noise in the garage when they're sleeping right above me. So I kind of got to, sort of tone it down a little bit. So I'll have to find a place and time to do the hammering finish. But that is definitely something that's next up on my list. So those are kind of the things I've tried so far as melting, pouring, and finishing, and what I want to get to in the future. Now also, some other stuff that I want to get into the future in regards to pouring, not necessarily silver pouring, is I really want to try and do some copper. Now, the graphite crucible that I have right now, I can already tell is starting to break down. I've had it for, oh goodness, I think I've cracked or fired up the furnace maybe, I want to say 10 times since I bought it, and heated it up all the way, melted silver, and done pouring. I think maybe somewhere around 10 pouring sessions so far, and I can tell the crucible is definitely breaking down. Now, usually my pouring sessions go for anywhere between, when I first started out, I was about an hour and a half. Now I'm pushing them more towards the 3-hour range. So I probably got somewhere around 20 to 25 hours of that crucible being hot. I don't know exactly how long they're supposed to last. I don't know, if they're, it's good for 100 hours of being heated up or whatever. I don't think they really even maybe say that. But I do need to buy a new crucible to put in my furnace, and so I'll have to go shopping for one. I know it holds 1 kilo of silver, at least that's what it's advertised, but I don't want to buy the wrong one. And seeing as though my furnace, the exact one I bought, isn't even for sale on eBay anymore, I might have a little bit of trouble with that, but I'll get it figured out. Hopefully I can buy the right one. But so as far as pouring, I really want to try and do copper. And what I was thinking is I can switch over to my brand new crucible for silver and keep pouring silver in my new one, and then the one I have now, which is starting to sort of break down a little bit, I'll start doing copper out of that one. And the reason is, once it kind of breaks down, I've noticed some of the pores are a little bit more, I don't know, I guess on the dirty side. I don't know if that's the graphite actually getting in there. I don't think it is, but it might just be that I'm putting dirtier silver in there, and maybe I need to throw some borax in the mix. I'm not sure, but I think it'll be easier to pour out of a newer one, and so I'm not as worried about the copper messing up. With copper, it's way, way cheaper than silver. So if you mess up a copper bar, it's like, oh well. But if you mess up a silver bar, it's like, oh, that's a real bummer. Now I got to remelt it and all that. So I think the new crucible just would help with pouring the silver and make that maybe a little bit easier, and I can get better, cleaner pours with that, and then I'll just use the older one for the copper. Now, for copper, I will say I haven't melted any down yet, but as far as watching other people's videos on YouTube and doing research and everything, you got to get it hotter. So you could just heat the copper up to 2000, which it should be melted at that point, because copper melts at 19 and some change. I'll have to double check on that, but over 1900 degrees Fahrenheit, you need to get copper for sure to melt it. So I'll probably just turn my furnace up as hot as it'll go and try that. I think it actually only goes up to, maybe 2100 Fahrenheit. So hopefully that'll get the copper, liquid enough, smooth enough to do some good pours. But I think copper just would be fun too, to kind of mix it up. I know a lot of silver rounds, especially on like the Provident website, they offer in silver and then copper as well. And the copper obviously is way cheaper. I mean, copper, you're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 cents for an ounce of copper, right? So just to buy the weight of it. Obviously, a poured bar that's artwork and everything will be more. I mean, if you look at I'll just go with Provident again. If you look at on their website, usually they sell their copper rounds for $1, which actually is pretty reasonable because it is artwork and they have to have the dye and everything. So I get that, but it is a very, very hefty premium already over spot, I guess you could say. But again, copper is not a precious metal. It is a metal, and it is very cool, and you can make some beautiful art out of it. So I definitely want to try to do some copper stuff. As far as pouring gold, that is not even anywhere on my radar right now. Like that, I'm not even contemplating pouring gold. It would be very, very cool to sometime in the future do a gold pour. Make a gold bar or something, but I don't even have any gold right now. I have got a very, very tiny bit of gold that I got from gold panning some pay dirt. I actually have some more pay dirt I need to pan, but so I might have a tiny little bit more gold coming in, but that, nowhere near what I need to do a good pour. I mean, you probably need at least minimum half an ounce to get a good pour. So That's just something that I'll have to figure out in the future. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And then if you are wanting to buy the International Silver Syndicate monthly subscription box, definitely check that out. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. And thank you so much again. I'll see you in the next one. Silver Baggins out.